Alright, hey guys, what's going on? Needs more drums back in our City Skylines 2 city that has yet to be named. So, as always, leave your name suggestions down in the comments and we will get to that probably in the next episode. So, really looking forward to hearing from you guys. And if I hear nothing from you guys, then I'm just going to name it myself and y'all are going to have to deal with it. But today, you can see I have the game on pause because we need to figure out some ways to just improve the general budget of the city and make it a nice place to live. So with that being said, let's just go ahead and jump right in. All right, so our current budget situation is very grim and our population situation is not great either. And I think a lot of this is simply just my fault. Obviously I don't really know too much about how the game functions especially since the economy update. And I did 2 massive redevelopment initiatives when we already had a pretty stable population. So the population has gone up from back then, and it is improving slightly, but our demand is generally pretty low for everything. And I think that is because of a couple things. So before, let me just say this. There are a few ways that we hopefully should be able to improve demand and therefore improve the economy, because I think the biggest issue right now is that there are just not enough people or businesses moving into the city to generate any additional tax income. So the main goal for today is just to we just want to grow the city, and therefore by growing the city, we will have more income. More income means we can invest in more infrastructure, which will generate more demand, which will generate more income. You get the cycle, right? So makes sense. But right now we're just not generating any demand. And I believe that is because if you look at how happy our people are, we are lacking in a couple of areas that I feel like we really need to invest in, and that is entertainment and education. So we're already at the Grand Village milestone and we still don't have any parks, which we did just unlock, to be fair, but we don't have any schools and our money is not very high. But we do have this small elementary school that is only $40,000, and I think we need to place this down if we have any chance of bringing in any additional residents. And so I've kind of been thinking about where I want to put a school, and I do want to keep it over somewhere by the residential, somewhere in an area that'll be easily accessible by everyone. And I was kind of leaning towards something like over here. And I originally thought about maybe saving this for a high school, but it's a little bit small, even I think for the small high school, which we can't even afford yet anyway. But yeah, I mean, I guess it would fit there, but that's actually a nice sized building. We could fit that just about anywhere. But I do want to put this here because it's kind of close to the downtown. It'll have a nice radius. We may have to place another school over here eventually, but I think this is pretty good for now, and hopefully people will travel out this way to go to this school. And so I don't know if there are many upgrades for this building because I've never placed it down before. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to place it. Ooh, that's going to bug me that it's like not directly center. That's fine though. We'll place some parking lots or something. But I think I'm going to place it with the front door being like right here. So that way, if there's some extensions, we can maybe add some to the left or to the right if we need to. But yeah, so we're actually just going to bite the bullet. We're going to place that down, and that made people very, very excited. That's excellent. Okay, fantastic. And let me just click in here real quick and just see. So we do have an extension wing. And of course I put this in the only place that we can't ever add that on. Awesome. And a gymnasium. I guess I can't click that, but hopefully it'll fit like right here. But for now, I think what we're going to do is we're actually going to detail this up just a touch. And I mean, just a little bit. We're not going to go crazy with this at all. Just a couple of little pathways here. And then I think we will add a bit of parking because there's actually no parking with this building. And so with the elementary school, I feel like we can get away with not an absolute ton of parking, but we still need some in this long parking lot. Oh man. I need to what do I need to do? I need to redo zoning on that road, or I could put it here where I put my pathways. That is what we're going to do. We're going to put it right here. And I do realize that this costs $11,000 to put down this parking lot, but you know what? We're going to do it because that would have to be something that we would place down in a situation like this. So I don't really feel too bad about that. We'll add a couple of pathways here, even though they don't connect, and they should, but maybe that's what Move It's for. So all good there. But cool, so we have that down, and one thing that I love to do to complete my schools is to make a little bit of a park or a small playground. So yeah, the playground, I feel like that's just absolutely essential to any kind of small school like this. So we're gonna put that kind of just right behind here, only $5,000, and that will give us a park benefit as well. So now on the subject of parks, before we detail up the school, let's go around and put down a couple of parks. So I have this dog park, and I think a dog park is fantastic. So we're gonna put this probably in an area where we figure that there will be, I don't know, a nice population of citizens. And what is right here? What is this? Is this the police station? You know what? This is a perfect place for some kind of park right by the police station, I think. Have a nice little town center. Maybe even this, is the small park too small? No, it's actually too big. That's a shame. What about the tiny city park? Maybe we can even get away with something like that. Honestly though, kind of liking the dog park, kind of liking it. And again, I think we need some more parking over here as well, since it is like right by the police station. We're gonna put the dog park, we'll put this right here. And then we will build a very small parking lot. Tiny parking lot should be perfectly sufficient for this. We'll put that right there. Don't need anything too crazy, it's just a dog park. And if we end up needing more parking, we'll put it down at another point. But that seems like a nice spot for that. And then I do want to place something over on this side of the city as well. Let's go ahead and take a look. And I think our small park for 10,000 might be a good option. We do have this ring park, which is a little bit, it's got double the recreation for only 50% more of the price. But the dog park has the same effect. Interesting. I don't want to put two dog parks though. I kind of like having the small park somewhere in the city. And the ring park is just a little bit weird right now. I don't think there's like a good place to put this. I feel like this would do really well in like an awkward space, maybe somewhere. Actually, we could put it somewhere like over here, since this is going to be a park anyway, and maybe we can move this away from the road a little bit. Let's leave that for now. Let's just put down a small park. So this is a nice residential area over here. I think there should be some kind of small park, at least maybe on this corner we can put one, and that would be a nice separation between, we can landscape this a little bit and have a nice little barrier between this low density residential neighborhood, which will probably increase in density in the future. But at the very least, it'll be a nice contrast between this low density neighborhood and these three, well, I guess it's three-way intersection of these main roads here. So let's just go ahead, put this down right. Actually, you know what? I had a second thought. I don't really want to put two parks in the same area though, but I kind of do. I kind of want to make this a functional area. And since we don't have all of these big parks yet, I kind of want to put this here. You know what? That's what we're gonna do. We're gonna delete our area here. And the only reason I'm doing this really is because I do want this centerpiece of town to have a purpose. As always, I love building with functionality. And so, you know, you figure like this little town central park here, I actually want this to attract citizens and have some benefit to the community. So we're gonna go ahead and put down the small park right here, and that should actually make this into a fully functional area. And so around here, I like to do this little nifty thing with some of the pathways, which I guess I don't need to do now that we have the surface, what do you call it, tool, because the distinction in the grass is really annoying. But I think if I have like this manicured grass here, and now if I go like this and this and this, and you know what, we're gonna hide that with like some bushes or something. So not too worried about that there, but that's just fine. Oh man, and I can't even, oh, I can build that there, but I just can't connect to the park. It's kind of a shame that you can't do that. I mean, again, I guess that's what like Move It and stuff is for, but I don't really want to use that right now. So instead, we're going to use some anarchy, and we're going to put down a couple of bushes. We just have these wild green bushes, but I want to do something cultivated. Let's go ahead and take a second, landscape this. We'll make this park look a little bit more presentable. And then we'll detail up the school real quick as well before we press play. So let's get this looking good, and we'll keep going on with our build. All right, and so we got a little bit of detail work done. Nothing crazy, just a little bit of landscaping. And I do love the fact that it is fall right now. It is so pretty to have seasons in this game. I just absolutely love that. But anyway, okay, so now I am tempted. I'm tempted to press play, except I kind of want to build. I want to put one more park over here in this area, like I said I would, because I didn't get a chance to do that yet. I could do plaza, but this is kind of not the place for a plaza in my opinion. I think a small playground is just going to do the trick. And you know what? I'm going to put it right here because that is just the awkwardest space and we're never going to fill it with anything else. That's a perfect little park to put right there, to be honest. So let's go ahead and just, it doesn't seem to want to fit very nicely, but you know what? That, in this case, we're actually going to use move it. And I know it's going to, oh no, it's going to make my zoning all tweaked out. That's so annoying. There we go. That works. Cool. Yeah, so I got a nice little small playground. I know it's at a pretty busy intersection, but you know, I feel like we'll try to maybe figure out a way to work around that at some point. Or if we have another small park option that we could put there, that might be better too. Actually, you know what? We're gonna move this. I know it's gonna cost money, but I don't want to put a playground right next to a main road like this. You know, if you have kids running around, that just seems a little bit unsafe to me. So I think instead what I'm gonna do is I might put it at the end of this cul-de-sac. That'll give this cul-de-sac some functionality here. And then we can have this kind of be like a nice little destination spot. People can drive up here to the end of the cul-de-sac, go to the playground. We'll landscape this area a little bit nicely. I know you can't actually connect paths to roundabouts, which is a little bit frustrating. But at the very least, I think we can have a nice little pathway that kind of snakes around this main road here, since I don't really want to develop anything on this road right now. Let's actually do that. Let's just bring a little pathway around here. Start like right there. We'll just drag this out like so. I think that will be perfect, except I do want to connect just a little bit of a path right there. so people can actually access from this intersection here. But that should be perfect. So now let's just do a little bit of landscaping and detailing. And just like that, I feel like just having a nice little manicured pathway and some landscaping here just really makes this area look more interconnected with this little subdivision here. You know, it's just little things like that, just taking a second to kind of detail up some of these like weird empty spaces really makes a difference, just night and day there. So I like that a lot. I'll probably do that off camera, you know, once we actually figure out how some of this stuff is going to sit. But like something like this right here, like this road or this weird space, obviously nothing is going to go here. Let's take a second and just detail this up as well. Getting a little carried away, but don't really care. I have yet to detail any part of the city up a little bit, so I think this is a good opportunity to do some of this. Now that I kind of think about it, I think this would be a good spot to have just like a one-way road going to the right there. That way people could park along the street to access the park, and we won't have to worry about any weird, you know, turns coming in this way. And then I'm probably going to even switch this. Actually, I might just do it right now so that people can't turn left. I want this to be a right turn only here, and people can just use this as kind of like an offshoot. So that should help, you know, clean this junction up a little bit. I know it's a little messy, some weird kind of 4.5-way intersection with this alleyway here. Very, very strange thing going on there. But anyway, we'll deal with that a little bit later. So now, I think it's time to finally press play and see if any of this actually pays off. I'm a little bit nervous. I think we're still going to be in the negatives, and we may have to take out a loan, which I really don't want to do. But it is what it is if we have to do it. So let's just go ahead and press play and see what happens. All right, so just doing a quick pause here. Literally been letting the game run for probably about 30 seconds. And already we had an indicator that our happiness was going up. We have an indicator that, well, our demand is going up. And so you know what? We're going to be proactive about this. And one thing that I've been really bad about is actually zoning beforehand. So I've been very reactive with my zoning, and I want to be a little more proactive. So I think what we should do is zone out some medium density here, and I don't want to create a district. I want to click that tool. There we go. And so that way we'll have some homes for people to actually move into rather than waiting for you know, we just need to be proactive about our zoning and actually zone before the demand hits. Let's go ahead and do this. I may actually zone a little bit of medium density housing here instead of the row housing. We'll go with some buildings like that, just right in this little area here. And since this is not really part of the, it's not really part of the grid as much as some of these other places are. So let's leave that for now. Zone another row house there, and we'll zone some more right there. That should be nice for that. And then we'll actually zone out some more low density residential as well. And I think we actually have, it seems like we got a little bit of it happening here, but not a ton. So actually that seems to be good for now. So we're gonna leave that. Just press play again. People are moving in. I know we're a ways away from actually turning a profit, but I think we really just need to focus on getting our demand up. And something else that I did is I actually bumped down the tax rate for higher educated citizens, just because we don't have these types of facilities in our city yet, so we're not able to provide any higher education at the moment. So having that that subsidy will hopefully grant people the ability to come into the city and become employed at some of these businesses that require higher education, such as offices, even some commercial, even some industrial buildings might require some higher education. But anyway, luckily zoning is free, so never hurts to zone stuff out, which is really nice. But all right, so while we're waiting for some of these to develop, we see some buildings are actually leveling up. Very, very good. Higher taxes, unreliable healthcare. Yeah. Let's be quiet. Jeez. Can't catch a break. Cannot catch a break. So I'm debating about whether or not to use low rent housing. And I still am hesitant. But one thing that we should maybe do, since again, I believe zoning is free, we should focus on some more specialized industry, and maybe that would bring some people in, bring some workforce in. So I'm going to pause the game real quick and just kind of look at some of the areas around, so we could see kind of where some of the specialized industry may be beneficial to us. So we have this big area here, which I am planning on using for residential development very shortly, probably this episode if demand allows for it and if we have the money. But yeah, so that would be nice to get that going. But we're gonna save that area for residential, and then this industry is probably going to be pushed out at some point, so we're just leaving it here for now. But in terms of specialized industry, we have this very, very dense forest here, and I think this could be really good for some forestry industry, especially on this side of the highway. I noticed this side, there's some pretty steep terrain dips right here and stuff, and I don't really want to mess with that. I kind of like how this looks, but this has a little bit more workable land, I think. The only problem is it would be very, very expensive to build a bridge over this highway to access that area. So we're going to leave that for now. So I'm thinking maybe some of this stuff over this way might be kind of sensible to use some specialized industry here, particularly forestry industry. We can build a little forestry industry that kind of cuts around here and maybe even over here. And then we can maybe fill in some of this with some farmland. Since we kind of have this spacing here. And you know what we could do? We could actually follow this is a trick that probably already know who it is, but a very popular City Skylines player uses this trick, and I quite like it actually, of kind of following the tiles with roads as sort of like land parcels. So I kind of like that idea, and so I'm going to do that right here, and we're going to just kind of bring this like so. Right, we'll just go right like this here. Oh, and that kind of connects up nicely with that interchange there, doesn't it? Actually, maybe it doesn't. It's kind of a weird thing there, but we'll actually just leave that there for now. I don't even know if I want to connect that yet. But at the very least, we can have some forestry industry, you know, maybe on this side, some farmland right here. And this dirt path that I've laid out is going to be where the train track is going to go. So I'm going to leave that space open for now. But let's go ahead and we will drag out. Let's see here. What do I want to do with some of these roads? All right, so I have some interesting road layouts a little bit. And so instead of placing the specialized industry right on what will probably turn into a main road, I want to put it off to the side a little bit. You know, you figure somebody has their farm kind of off to the side, and I want to see, we have a surplus, big surplus of grain. We have a deficit in vegetables, so maybe we can produce. I might have some vegetable farming. Maybe I'll dedicate that to a different area. But I think for now we could let's do some more grain farming here, kind of in the hills. I think that would be very, very good for this area. And then in terms of forestry, I want to put this kind of off the beaten path here on this hillside like so. We'll just bring this kind of around, run it along the train track here, kind of go all the way back to this patch over here. And forestry, I'm not afraid to go up into the hillside a little bit because I feel like that's something that you typically see in more mountainous areas anyway. So I'm not too upset about that kind of cutting into this cliffside here. I think that's actually kind of cool. We'll add those for now, and we will add one more farmland right over here, and just to kind of go around where this train track is. All right, and we'll see if this actually has any effect and actually brings any more jobs into the area, which I'm not sure that it will, but at the very least, try our best, right? So, yep, that's all we can do right now. I'm really hoping we hit the next milestone soon. It'll give us a nice little cash boost, and we can actually invest in probably a high school would be the next practical investment. And I think I have an idea of where I may want to put it. But before we get there, I want to talk about where I want to put some more residential development. And so I know we don't have the money to plan this out right now, but I do anticipate this whole area being a nice kind of hillside suburb residential, single family homes, really nice place to be. And then, like I said, this area being more of a grid-like residential development, just carrying out the city development. And then this area here, I'm going between residential with a mix of commercial, but I'm thinking about a little bit higher density here, probably some mixed use zoning along this main road, and then maybe some row housing back here. So we'll get that, all zoned out once we actually unlock that zoning type. But for now, we'll just let some of these things develop. And we have, again, a terrible cash situation. This is just terrible. This is so awful. I don't know how to not spend a bunch of money. I mean, all of our budgets are relatively low. I don't want to go too low because then we're going to not be efficient. So I don't know what we're going to have to do. I mean, healthcare and death care is really, really killing us, pun intended. Especially the cemetery. I mean, we just don't need this much for the cemetery, but the crematorium I don't think was much cheaper, if I'm being honest. Yeah, I guess it was cheaper to upkeep, but the price was just really, really aggressive. And it's kind of weird how there's not a way to separate the two. Like it's one thing, healthcare and death care. Like we don't need that much death care, but we do need the healthcare. And so I don't want to lower this anymore because we're pretty much maxed out on our healthcare availability right now. So I don't know. I guess we're just gonna have to let it figure itself out. High taxes, unreliable healthcare. Man, we are really, really struggling here. But it's fine. We'll get there. We'll get there soon enough. So I think another thing that I noticed is the number of jobs that we have. So we're pretty much maxed out on jobs. So I wonder if I should zone some more industrial and some more commercial. And I don't really know where the industry should be. I mean, I kind of have a little bit of an idea, but it just seems like, I don't know, we need to push it out maybe this way a little bit more. But I don't want to go, I don't want to build this out too much because I feel like this is going to change later as well. We don't really have any money to expand any more tiles. I guess I could start using some industrial placeholders here, since this is going to be where our cargo station is eventually going to go. I guess that kind of makes sense. So why don't we spend some more money and build out some industry, maybe kind of like back here. Well, it's going to be deleted once we build it. I really want to wait to save up to that cargo station though. Yeah, let's not do that yet. Let's not do that. Let's actually, we'll build a little bit of an industrial park. How about over here off of this road that's already an industrial park? That would make sense. Let's do that. And of course, that's not going to develop. I really wonder if I just need to bite the bullet and do something about this low rent housing, because I feel like people are hurting for cash here. And so it might make sense that we actually need to zone some of that. You know what? I'm just going to do the tiniest bit. I'm going to commit. I'm going to do the tiniest bit of it right here. We're just going to have some very, very small buildings. Like nothing crazy at all. Guess I can add just a couple more. Maybe like there. With 1 there. Just to get some people in here. We'll try to phase that out a little bit later. But as you can see, definitely having an effect somehow. Money is still bleak. Oh man. I'm almost tempted to lower taxes again. But I feel like that just is not the best idea, because I mean, is it really that bad? No, let's just see. Let's just see. If I bring it down to like 12, I feel like that has more of a negative effect on our budget than it does on our positive effect on our demand. Well, actually, no. I saw that. I saw that little bump in demand there for a second. That looked kind of promising. I don't know. I say we just leave it at that for now, and we'll let people come into the city here. We have still a lot of demand for low rent housing, which I don't know. I'm kind of still tempted to not really feed into that much. But I mean, if that's what we got to do to get people in our city, then that's what we got to do. But we're gonna let this sit. We're gonna let this run for a little bit, and I'll just check back in with you guys in a minute, see if this situation improves at all, which I have very little faith that it will. But hey, we're doing our best. So let's wait and see. All right, well, this is very nice. We just hit the tiny town milestone, and I was trying to persevere to get to this, and we have made it. So 125,000, which is not a lot, given our current financial state, but we do have some more development points, and we do have some more expansion permits that I don't think we're even going to touch at this state. So let's go ahead and just take a look at what we got. So we got an increased loan limit, which again, I want to stay away from. Let me pause the game real quick since we're still just bleeding money. We got mixed use zoning, which is awesome. Communications, which we need now. So that's more money that we need to spend that we don't have. Roadside parking. Ooh, that could be interesting. And yeah, that could be interesting. I don't know. Maybe we can charge some fees for some parking. But yeah, in terms of development points, not really too sure what I want to invest in at this very moment. I mean, obviously maybe a crematorium at some point, but we don't really need that right now. Cobblage, we don't have the money for that. Same with anything fires related. Oh, I do want trains. That needs to happen. And I do want park maintenance, and I want to get some more parks, I think, too, because those are, this is like, I like these sports parks. And I think these just work wonders for your city, just like all of this stuff. So I want to start working our way towards that. And yeah, I'll save that for right now. We don't need any kind of crazy road buildings or anything, but yeah. So like I said, still spending a lot, but I don't know. The demand is kind of kicking up here and there. So I think just slowly but surely we'll keep bringing people in, and then it'll get to a point where we'll be able to actually turn a bit of a profit. But yeah, for now I think, I don't know what the best thing to do is probably just to keep persevering and trying to expand. I mean, growing the city with this economy update is not super easy, especially when we don't have a lot of really good city services. Like, oh my gosh, oh look at this, school is already maxed out. Oh no. And of course the gym is so big that we can't put it anywhere that we want to. Oh my gosh, that's fun. Do we need another school? I think that we might. I think that we actually might, because I did not leave room. This is just such a weird shape. I don't really know where we would put this. I kind of don't want to expand that school, to be honest, right now. I think we might just build another one over here with the new cash that we got, even though that would just mean more money to spend. I don't know. I don't know what to do. Oh man, this is not great. I think we'll just we'll think about this for a second before we actually make any decisions, because I do not want to risk 40 grand and then not have it pay dividends in the future. So we'll see. We'll think about it. What about a high school though? Can't afford that. Cool. All right. Well, I guess we'll just keep on keeping on here, making people actually want to live here, and then we'll see what happens. So one thing that I could do though, I could put down the rock musician mansion, and I'm tempted to put it up here in these hills and develop like a little residential area up here. And I think that might be kind of a cool place for it. It could be kind of like a private community, you know? So maybe we can do something with that. Let's work with this a little bit. So let's just we'll actually use tempted to use some alleyways, but actually, you know what we're gonna use? We're gonna use some tree-lined streets here. So let's drag this out a little bit. So yeah, so let's put this kind of like up here in its own little private area. I think that would be really, really cool, just at the end of the street. Actually, no, I'm gonna delete this. We'll put it kind of like over here. Nope, it's next to the highway. But presumably that highway would not have been there before. And we'll still kind of surround this with some trees. So it shouldn't be all that bad. Actually, you know what? Let's put it right here. We're going to move it to just align it up with the road a little bit better than that. And we're actually going to just put down a bunch of trees around here. So this house will be very secluded up on the hillside like this, and I think that's kind of cool. So this whole neighborhood is kind of given a very like gated neighborhood type feel. We can have a couple of different houses, very spaced out, some bigger homes, bigger lot sizes. And there we go. That'll look very nice. But that'll bring some positive benefits to the area. And you know what? I think with that being said, I think we're sadly going to go ahead and call it an episode to today. I was hoping to get a little bit more done in terms of balancing the city budget and everything, but I just don't think it's going to happen today. I don't know what we got to do to make money. And like I said, I really don't want to take out any loans. But like, man, it is just killing us. And I don't want to raise taxes because that's just going to decrease demand. I mean, do I dare just keep adding low rent housing? I don't want to do that either. It just, all of this sounds so unappealing. If you guys have any advice on how to deal with this budget deficit that we're running, please let me know. It's like we have only, I'll pause the game again, but it's like we only have essential city services. We have power, landfill, water, one school. I mean, not like there's nothing that I can think of that we're really doing wrong. I mean, like in any other City Skylines game, I feel like we would have been blowing just money out of the water. We would have just been swimming in cash. It would have been crazy. But not in this game. So I don't know. If you guys have any advice, please let me know. If not, well, thanks anyway. But stay tuned for the next episode. We'll see if we can make ourselves a little bit of cash. Maybe we can dig ourselves out of this budget deficit somehow. I don't know. We're gonna figure it out some way, somehow, someday. So stay tuned. And in the meantime, have a great rest of your week and try to play City Skylines 2 and try to make some money. If you can do it better, let me know. But until next time, see you guys later. Take care, and yeah, talk to you soon. Peace.